So right now I'm shooting on the Fujifilm XS10 with the 23mm f2. I am shooting at f2.8. And I think it is official that I am a Fuji fanboy now. It's just my opinion, but this Fuji XS10 has pretty much everything I need to get the job done. I mean, first of all, it has a flip out screen so I can see myself right now while I'm filming. It has, a mic jack. I occasionally do some professional work. So with the USB-C adapter, you can you can plug in like your headphones for monitoring. The other thing also with the HDMI out, which is unfortunately a micro HDMI, you can plug it into like an Atomos Ninja and you can record 10-bit if you want to shoot an F-Log. But for the most part, for this particular camera, the Fuji XS10, I shoot it in Eterna, but I choose the highest dynamic range setting, which is like DR400. The one thing about that is that it will make your minimum ISO 640, but it'll give you a little more dynamic range if you have to make corrections in post. So far, I'm happy with it. I mean, the autofocus, like what I have it set to right now is area. So like I put a box, like it's not the wide, because I find that when you set the autofocus to kind of do its own thing, or even if you put like the face detect, like it'll detect like a face behind me, which is weird because there's no face back there. So I turn the face detection off. I just kind of choose I put the box like right around this area so that as long as I keep myself in the general vicinity of the box, the autofocus kind of stays on me. It doesn't jump around too much. If you're looking at like a Fuji camera that doesn't break the bank and can shoot really good video, XS10 is that. The other aspect of getting into the Fuji system, actually my main motivation for getting into it was that I wanted to start doing some more street photography and taking more photos of my family. So I didn't want to spend more than $500 on like a body and lens for street shooting. So I came across this camera here. This is the Fuji XA10. So if you haven't heard of this camera, wait, when did this come out? I should look this up. Let's head over to DP Review while we still can, because I don't know if you heard this, but Amazon has decided to shut it down. Oh, okay, here. So it says here the Fujifilm XA10 was released in December 2016. So this, it's March 2023 right now. So what is that, like 7 years? Not quite 7 years. In the world of cameras, it's a pretty old camera. It doesn't have your typical Fuji dials on the top with your ISO, shutter speed. I mean, it does have a dial here that I use for shutter speed. This little, I don't know if you can see this. This little dial here, this vertically oriented dial, I use that for my ISO, which I have this one function button here. Focus. This one function button here, so I can control ISO here. I control the aperture from the lens ring, which, by the way, the lens I have on this setup is really cheap. I think I got it for $150. A TT Artisan 27mm f2.8. It's kind of like their knockoff version of the Fuji lens, but it's not weather sealed. But yeah, so this is my setup for street shooting. As you can see, it's pretty small. I would love to have a Fuji X100V, but for somebody who's just starting out doing street photography, that's a lot of camera for me. Also, it's a lot of money. So the XA10, body only, I picked up on mpb.com. It came with the battery, charger, body cap. It's in really good shape. I mean, they had it as excellent, and it looks brand new, except for one tiny little scratch like on top that you probably can't even see it. But I was pleased with the condition of it, and I just decided to pick up like this cheap almost pancake lens on Amazon. So I got the body for 150 and the lens was about 150. So this setup right here is, you know, $300. And it's working out great. I mean, I'll put up some shots that I got with it around downtown Honolulu, and, you know, some snaps of my kids and stuff. But it does not have a viewfinder. So that's one. If that's something that's gonna bother you, then don't pick up this camera. But for the most part, when I'm shooting street, I'll flip the screen out like this if I'm shooting low, and I'll kind of just, you know, do that. Or, you know, even if I keep it folded in like this, I can just kind of hold it out, you know, vertically this way. So I mean, you just kind of keep it a little more casual. You're never gonna be doing this, which, you know, it's a lot more conspicuous when you're doing street photography if you're holding the camera up to your face. So I actually prefer to just kind of shoot from here and just kind of, like, you know, screens out, and I can just take some shots even this way. A lot of times I'll just kind of wait, you know, like at waist level, So if you are looking to get into street photography and don't want to break the bank, as they say, this Fuji X-A10 with the TT Artisan 27mm f2.8 is a nice little setup. The 28mm gives you about a 40mm focal length. To wrap it up, I mean, if in the Fuji system, which I am just getting into, the Fuji XS10 with the 23mm f2, which is about a 35mm equivalent for video. I feel like a lot of people like to shoot very wide for video. I find that when you go wider than like 24mm full frame, it kind of starts to distort faces and things start to look a little bit warped on the edges. It would be difficult to vlog at this focal length, but I mean, for talking head pieces to camera like this, where the camera's on a tripod, I'm just here talking, 35mm is perfect. And also for commercial work, when I shoot stuff for clients, it's very versatile. I can get pretty much everything done just at this focal length. So that's the video side of it. The photo side, like I mentioned, X-A10, cheap 27mm, $300, street photography, you're good to go. So we're continuing the video. We had gymnastics, we had to get dinner going. So I just wanted to wrap up my thoughts on shooting video on the Fuji XS10 and shooting photos on the Fuji X-A10 with the TT Artisan 27mm. $300 street shooting camera. So here's some photos I shot with this. Bear in mind that I am new to still photography. I primarily shoot video. Here are some photos I took with the Fuji X-A10 and 27mm from TT Artisan. Anyway, if you made it this far in the video, thanks for watching. Till the next one.